Hi everybody, welcome to the astrology chat for September 8th, 2024. So the key for today is to slow down and take your time to process your emotions. Rather than being overcome by outdated perceptions or idea of who you are or what you're capable of, stop and allow yourself to take note of heavier emotions, thoughts, or feelings that you need to process. And also take note of how much you've overcome, how much you've grown, how much you understand, and how much you can continue to do all of the above. I say this because we have the moon in Scorpio. The moon in Scorpio is about deep feelings. It's about the emotions, about the house of desire and release. This is very much about the unseen, right? This is Scorpio really brings us in to the dark line of our own psyche, and not so that we get lost in it. Ideally, it's not about you getting lost in it. It's about you analyzing. It's about you understanding. It's even also about you feeling it. Scorpio is a water sign, so you do have to feel, right? Let yourself feel to the puzzle and feel to the solution. And today we have a lot going on. So first, I just want to highlight that we have the Sun in Virgo making an opposition to Saturn retrograde in Pisces. And this is a really intense energy that can bring a lot of heaviness. It can make you feel very restricted. It can make you very aware of how you have or have not learned how to express yourself in the face of adversity. And a lot of the astrology that we have for quite some time is challenging us to develop our discipline, to develop our fortitude, to develop faith in our ability to move through things when it's hard, to move through things when we don't want to become the authority, to take control, to take our sovereignty that's given to you by God and bring it into the physical realm. So there's that, right? And then also the moon in Scorpio is making an tense energy with both Chiron and Jupiter in the North Node, and with Mars and with Neptune. And so this is where it's going to be really important to take your time, especially since the fact we have Mercury in tension with Neptune today. So there's a lot of moving parts. Notice that we have a lot of these planets, a lot of these energies are in the water sign. So this is about this feeling. It's about how you're dreaming. It's about what you desire. It's about how these things are or not being reflected in your day-to-day life. In that opposition with the Sun and Saturn is saying to you, okay, well, you don't have it yet, but there are things that you can do to get to it. And if that means going through the therapy, if this means engaging in CBT, if this engages in somatic therapy, if it's journaling, there's something that you can do to grasp yourself. There's something, a new habit, a new idea, a new vision, a new realization, a new perspective that if you hold on to it, if you zone in on it and keep walking towards that, you're going to continue to walk from your past. You're going to continue to be in your present, and you're going to be continue to develop your future. Now, is this something that feels good? Not necessarily, because there's a lot of energy that's challenging you about your own narratives, about who you are, what you've been, or what your life has been. And that's not to take away from any of the hard things that any of us have gone through. But what we're really being called to now is having this energetic, spiritual, mental, emotional check-in of like, but who are you going to be? And what are you going to serve? And how are you creating your core value? And how are you holding on to your sovereignty? And how are you feeding yourself? And what does it mean for you to feed yourself? In many ways, you do know the answers to these questions. It's, are you going to walk out on faith to figure it out? And maybe what you're being called to do is unsure. It's definitely going to be unsure. That's okay. What's more important is that you're going to learn that you know how to progress. You know how to understand. You know how to adjust. You're learning how to be flexible. You're in process. You are not a static being. You are alive. You are designed. You are intended. And you are allowed to be dynamic, even if it doesn't make sense to other people. Even more so if it doesn't make sense to yourself. Now, we do also have Venus in tension with Uranus. So there's this, again, this awareness of like, oh, well, my relationships with other Venus, this is Venus and Libra, with other people may or may not be feeding what you need to be doing for yourself. And this is where you need to step into your physical, into that earth energy, into that water energy, and mold yourself into the clay that God has intended you to do in the way that you're being called to do in your time. Don't hesitate to take a step. Don't be afraid to move forward. Let it go, understand, feel through it, and turn it into art. And the art is you. I love you guys so much, and I'll see you tomorrow.